now because I forgot. And so we are going to upload the session also after the webinar, so people can actually have access to them in a second moment. And during the whole time, if you have questions, you can raise your hand or use the chat. So feel free to ask questions at any time. And yeah, for today, we have again Joe Malem. Thank you for being here. I think you can short introduce yourself and we can start. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Happy to be back after last week. So for the people who weren't here last week, I'm a coach, specialized in life coaching, and I have seen or witnessed employees burnout, and I have been a victim of burnout myself and my mother. So I've been entangled with burnout every time I didn't want to, obviously, because no one wants to see or feel burnout. And today I'm on a mission to help people enjoy what they do more in order for the risk of them burning out to be less. So I don't want to spend too much time on the introduction because today's session is very cool. So I'm going to share my screen and let's go. Just before we start, today's session does have a bit of interactive parts. So if you guys want to interact, you can just write in the chat. And if you feel like you want to say something, you can just, there's this raise your hand on Zoom. Then I can hear you because I cannot see you all the time because I will be sharing my screen. Yeah. So let's dive in. You guys can see my screen? Awesome. I think you can. Cool. I can see just a couple of your faces. So if there's anything, just do like this and I'll know that I need to stop and come back or say anything. Doesn't matter. Good. So last week we spoke about the definition of well-being as a whole, like how can we achieve more well-being at the workplace? Why is it important? And today it's a more practical session. I'm very excited about that. It's the road to mental health and well-being. So now we understand well-being and we understand where we want to go to. And now it's about navigating practical strategies for well-being, right? So we're shifting the focus from theory to action. And in this session, you will be equipped with tangible tools for fostering mental health and overall well-being in the workplace. Let's dive in. As I said, it's going to be interactive. So before we start, let's kickstart our session with a brief icebreaker. Just like in dates, quick question. Take a moment to share a positive well-being experience or a simple practice that brings you joy. And please don't overcomplicate it. Like, don't try to think too much. Just something that brings you joy. For example, it could be a walk in the sun, right? Feeling the sun on your skin, or having your morning coffee while you're listening to your favorite song. Something that brings you joy. Could be something small, could be something huge, right? But what are positive well-being experiences for you guys? Let's see. Dancing. I love that. Every morning before going to work, dancing a little bit or before starting the day. That's awesome. That's very, very cool. I like that as well. While I'm brushing my teeth, I always like to dance just to get myself up. Surfing. That's a cool one, Maria. That's very cool. I wish I could surf. I've never dared to try it. Morning meditation, very important. We're gonna talk about that in a bit. But yeah, so important, so good. So good. Okay, let's see if something else will pop in. Snorkeling. Wow, that's so cool as well. I haven't been snorkeling. I'm a bit like, I like the sea. I like looking at the sea. It calms me down. But as soon as I'm there, I feel like I'm not that calm anymore. Yeah, Spotify playlist. Nice. Goes along with dancing, no? So you put your favorite music, brings you joy, makes you move a little bit, get yourself in the right space, in the right energy. Okay, cool. So as you can see, it can be small things, it can be big things like, I don't know, surfing, because for people living in Europe, most of us don't get to surf all the time. But things that bring us joy make us feel alive. And afterwards, we always feel better because of the dopamine that we get through it. So thank you for sharing, guys. For me, every morning is just having the pleasure and the privilege to be able to have a short walk before I start my day. because I do a lot of home office, as a lot of people might also do. And we get caged in for so long in the same place. So taking a short break before we kick off, I make my coffee and I take my mug literally with me on the street, and I walk with my mug and I just enjoy a bit of music in my ears. And sometimes the sun, because in Vienna it doesn't shine too often, but when it does, I enjoy it. So that's me. Let's see. Yeah, it's working. Our goal is to reduce stress in order to prevent burnout. Not only do we want to act once the burnout is there, but also in case someone burnt out and is trying to find a job again or wants to enter the world of work again, we need to have techniques on how to reduce our stress, how to stay calm and effective in dynamic environments, because work is a dynamic environment. No matter where you work, you always have things to do. There are always new tasks, always things going around, right? Every company is moving. So we need to learn how to stay calm in order for us not to get too emotionally attached or too stressed. Here are just a couple of examples that can truly help with stress reduction. Practicing mindfulness. We'll dive into them in a bit. Time management, regular physical exercises, positive self-talk, setting boundaries, and taking regular breaks. Now, they all sound very logical, but let's dive a bit deeper into them. So practicing mindfulness can help us remain calm and focused, right? And don't get me wrong, you don't have to do it like you see in the picture. You don't need to have a whole setup. You don't need to put a mat on the floor and sit down. Mindfulness is more about just acknowledging that we're alive, we're here, we're existing, and we are not our thoughts. So the whole idea of meditation, because a lot of people tell me, yeah, but I don't know how to meditate. I'm not getting into that state. It takes time because we live in a hectic world. A lot of things are happening. It's okay if when we meditate, we don't immediately go into the Zen of all the shamans or whatever, right? We're not monks at the end of the day, and we need to learn that, and it's okay. So we start with baby steps. I started meditating at my desk. This is how I started meditating, and now I have my morning routine where I meditate. But before, I used to just close my eyes for a couple of minutes during the day when I felt like I need to reconnect with myself. I'm getting too carried away. I'm not feeling anymore. I'm just doing. So practicing mindfulness, taking a few minutes each day to meditate, focus on your breath sensation in your body can help you reduce stress and improve concentration, and also make you understand that you can isolate yourself from your thoughts if you dive a bit deeper into mindfulness later. So that's step one. Step two, time management. Incredibly important, especially in dynamic environments, just such as the workplace. We need effective time management techniques, prioritizing tasks or breaking them down into smaller parts, making sure that it's manageable to reduce the overwhelm in dynamic environments. Yeah. Using tools like to-do lists or digital planners can be very beneficial. What I like to do is I like to do something called time blocking. Like in my calendar, I have blocks. I work according to blocks. I don't do things somehow. I know those are the things that I want to get done today. So every morning while I'm having my coffee, I look, okay, what is my plan for today? And I block time in the calendar. I need for this task, I'll take 3 hours. Yeah. For this task, I'll take 2. And this way you're more productive because you're not asking yourself the whole time, what should I be doing? Or where should I start? You know where to start, and you have your calendar telling you exactly what to do. And you can do it according to priority. I like to get the toughest tasks done early in the morning, because then I can manage everything else easier, and I'll be happy that I did the hard part first. So by prioritizing and understanding which is more urgent, we can then start with that in order to feel a bit calmer during the day. This is something I like to use. Regular physical exercises. Incredibly important to feel aligned with our bodies, because when we feel good in our bodies, we'll be better focused, we'll be better at work, we'll be more productive. So just practicing deep breathing exercises or utilizing relaxation techniques like progressive muscle relaxation, just feeling your muscles. And I don't mean exercise going to the gym 6 times a week. Yeah, it's all about the small steps that we can do while we're sitting at our desk. For example, stretching our neck, yeah, making sure that we feel that our muscles are here, that they're relaxed. When we feel like our shoulders are tense, we're allowed to take a couple of deep breaths and just relax the shoulders, drop them back, focus again, and then start. Yeah. short walks, a bit of a jogging exercise, maybe a bit of abs exercises. All of those might help because they also increase your dopamine in your body, which makes you happier, which makes you want to work more effective. Positive self-talk. I love this point. This point is for me such an important one because before my burnout and before I saw people burn out, I realized the self-talk is such a huge part of it because people who burn out tend to be very hard on themselves. And this is the reason why the stress is not just limited, it's unlimited, because when it's stressful and we're stressing ourselves even more, nobody's gonna come and help us. So we can be our best friends or our worst enemies. And this is a sentence that I really like. And I always was my worst enemy because I've always been very driven. I always wanted more. I always wanted to do better. And I realized that by doing that, I kept making myself smaller than I am, making myself feel smaller than I am. So it's very important to be the same way you are when with your close people, with your family, with your friends. When someone comes with a problem, a colleague comes with a problem, right? We're very positive to them. We help them. We make them feel like it's okay. It's going to be okay. We should do the same to ourselves. So when we feel overwhelmed, it's important to do positive affirmations and remember that we need to be calm and have an effective mindset, right? So we need to remind ourselves that we're capable of, and we've handled so many challenges and we can handle the one at hand right now again. Instead of saying, this is so tough, I can't. No, I can. I just need to figure it out. And it's okay. It can take time. Being patient with ourselves, being loving with ourselves, very important. Setting boundaries. I have a very good example. For example, today, I took the day off tomorrow because I felt like I needed to recharge, right? It's been, I've worked nonstop for the past 3 weeks. I didn't have a day off. I was like, okay, I'm going to take that Friday off for myself. And today something happened. A colleague is sick and I need to step in tomorrow. And I needed to say no in order to set my clear boundaries about my availability and workload. We cannot always keep overloading ourselves because that's when we start losing joy. So when you know that you need that time for yourself and it's not your responsibility to do that task, it's okay to say no. Of course, if it's very important and you can't say no, sometimes we got to do what we got to do. But it's good to know where our boundaries are in order to prevent a burnout and stay more focused and effective. Someone wrote something. Can you give an example on self-affirmation? Well, there are many different ones, and I can recommend actually an app that you can download on your phone for free. It's called I Am. I Am. You can download it and it gives you affirmations every day. You can put it on your lock screen. There's like a widget you can put on your lock screen. And every time you look at your phone, which we do a lot during the day, there's a small affirmation there. Sometimes it's I am enough. Sometimes it's I'm doing enough. Sometimes it's I'm on the right track. Those are all positive affirmations. It doesn't always have to be I look good, I feel good, because sometimes when you don't feel good, it's okay to not feel good, but it's important to keep ourselves in a positive mindset. Okay, some affirmations that is not related to screens. Fair point, very fair point. As I said, it's just empowering yourself the same way you do with your best friend. When you say, hey, you got this. This is a positive affirmation. This is positive self-talk. When I tell myself, I got this. I can do this. I'm on the right track. I am enough. I am human. Yeah. Sometimes we feel like we should operate like machines. No. Remind yourself you're a human, right? You have emotions. You can feel, you can say no, you can set your boundaries. I hope that answers the question. Those are a couple of examples, but you can get creative. Whatever you feel like you need, just give it to yourself because you cannot ask it of other people always. You need to give it to yourself first. Taking regular breaks. I knew a lot of colleagues who never wanted to take breaks. They're like, no, I'll get this done and then I will. But then something else comes in. Just make sure that you take regular breaks where you go for a quick walk or do a couple of stretches in order to reduce stress. You cannot keep functioning for 9 hours straight. You need to breathe. You need to take care of yourself because only then will you be more productive and more effective. But the more you drain yourself in work and the less breaks you take, the less effective you get. There are actually studies about this, and there's a method where you work 25 minutes full focus and then you take 5 minutes just breathe again. And this is incredibly effective because those 25 minutes where you're in the task, you're so productive, and then 5 minutes just a break, and then you go to the next sprint of 25 minutes instead of working 2 hours straight, where we humans, we have a certain limit on how focused and how attentive we can be. It's normal. And it keeps going down. So when you start a task, you're here, and after a while you start declining. So we need to stop there, make sure that we get ourselves back on track to go up again over the next 25 minutes. So those short breaks might seem like they're not very productive on the outside. Maybe you fear that your supervisor would be like, why are you taking so many breaks? But if you're being productive within the time where you should be productive, I'm sure the supervisor will be very happy to see that. Pomodoro method, exactly. Thank you guys for engaging. I like that. That's very good. So what are advantages of a positive work environment, and how can a positive work environment look like? So first of all, sense of belonging, making sure that the employees and we as a team, we belong all together. We're on this journey together. We talked about this last time. We are in this together, sense of belonging in a group, in a tribe, which every human being needs. It's one of our essential needs, is the sense of belonging. We need to belong to a tribe, to people. The Pomodoro method is basically time blocking. So working focused for 25 minutes, then taking a short break, and then doing that all over again. So basically just making sure that you're not working consistently over too long of a period. Yeah, you're welcome, Marco. What else does a positive work environment bring with it? Improves job satisfaction. When you belong somewhere, when you feel like you're within a family, you're within a group of people who want to support you and help you, and you're helping them, you're more satisfied because we love seeing results of our work. It encourages open communication. So when you don't feel good, it encourages you to say that you're not feeling good, that there's something else that you can do, that there's something when you need to talk and there's a positive work environment, you'll feel safe to talk. But if there isn't a positive work environment, everyone will try to swallow what they think until it fills up too much of the cup and it starts spilling all over the place. So we need to make sure that we always maintain a good balance to our cup. So not let it overflow, but rather have open communication, being able to talk to your supervisor, listening to your supervisor. What a positive work environment also does is it promotes work-life balance, right? In order to help the people understand that it's not all just work. There is also life. And it's very important that we differentiate ourselves as individuals and human beings rather than just people who work all the time. What it also does is it reduces workplace stress, encourages professional growth. We talked about this. Giving people opportunities to grow will also improve job satisfaction and also improve the sense of belonging. It creates a supportive network, because once you have the team and the sense of belonging, you will support others and others will support you much better than if everyone is just working for themselves and there is no positive work environment, no positive energy in the work environment. I've had the experience of working in a very negative work environment. Some people might nowadays call it toxic, and in a positive work environment. And the positive work environment is the place where you're asked how you're feeling, where you can share openly how you're feeling, what you think you can do better, where you need help. The negative work environment is, this is what you got to do, go do it and come back when you're done. So it has no open communication. There is no encouragement of helping each other. Also enhances physical health and attracts and retains talent, because when people are happy in their job, they will stay. If people see that the people who are at the job are happy, they are more likely to start with you. If they're talented people, they would like to have a positive work environment. Everyone would, right? So yeah, question. Amen. Thank you, Mark. Developing and implementing well-being plans. So every company, in my opinion, should actually think about how to implement well-being plans into their structure. And every employee also has the freedom to think about their own well-being plan. And it needs a solid foundation. So it needs to be set in a way that it doesn't fail. So we need a goal-setting method, such as the SMART goals, which I'm sure some of you have heard of. SMART goals is a way to set goals that are specific, based on clear goals. The chance of SMART goals succeeding is much higher than just normal goal setting, where you're like, I want to achieve this. That's it. You have no science to back it. You have no structure on how to achieve that goal. You have no time frame. So you just threw a goal out there and it's going to overwhelm you after a while because you have no plan, you have no structure. And to break down a goal means let's make it a SMART goal. And this is why it's called SMART as well, but it's about the abbreviation. So specific based on clear goals. I want, let's go on fitness and health, yeah? I want to lose 10 kilograms. So it's specific, lose weight, measurable. How do you know you achieved that goal? 10 kilograms. Write down the criteria for reaching the goal. How many kilograms? How many tasks do you want to finish? How many milestones of this one goal should be done? By when? So by when is about to come. It has to be an acceptable goal as well. It's not something that where you know that it's not going to work out for you, because we said when you set goals or when you plan something, you need to check whether you can actually do that. So by setting your boundaries, understanding, is that something acceptable for me right now? Is that something that can actually be done right now? The fourth criteria is realistic learning, achievable goals. What are you capable of right now? What help do you need? And how much time do you have available? Which brings us to time. But the realistic part is so important because so many of us set such a huge goal for some tasks. And then we feel like, oh, the deadline is coming closer and we're not getting anywhere because we don't have a specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic way of setting that goal. And the fifth one would be time. When should we achieve that goal? Is it a monthly? Is it weekly? Is it daily? So making a schedule, making sure that we need to layer several short-term goals to achieve the long-term goals. We cannot just jump there. We need to do step by step, like a ladder. Sometimes you try on a ladder, you try to jump 4 steps, you might fall, and then it will be a bit of a chaos. But when you go step by step, surely but slowly, as some people call it, you will get there safer and probably quicker. After achieving your goal, you can consider yourself as a good project manager. Yeah, exactly, Dana. Right. That's exactly the point. So again, just a short recap to SMART goals. Specific, as specific as you can. Measurable goals. How can I know that I achieved that goal? What's the quantity or the outcome that will make me understand that we're there? Is it acceptable for right now? Is it doable within all those other tasks? Is it realistic for me right now? Am I capable of it, or do I need someone to help? And by when should this task be done? I thought of SMART goals as part of business plans, etc. But you're right, that's a useful for any part of our life. Definitely. It's for every part. It's not just for business plans. In fitness, you can use SMART goals. I used to be a fitness coach for a couple of years, and setting SMART goals with the clients helped the clients also understand that we're on a journey together, and it's not something that's gonna flip overnight. Like they told me when they came, I want to lose 10 kilograms. I'm like, okay, let's break it down. Let's be specific. Let's measure it. We know you want to lose 10 kilograms. Is it acceptable right now? How often can you train a week? What are you capable of? And by when do you want to achieve it? In 6 months? Okay, because when we know when we want to achieve it, we know how much time we have. We reverse engineer the whole thing. So we go back in steps. We don't try to just get to it. We go to the end goal and then we see, okay, what steps are needed? And this is why SMART goals are very, very, very effective and very good for goal setting. Why does it still do? Yeah. I have another thing in the chat. How to stay on track when we don't reach the goals we've set? Well, if you have positive self-talk and if you are encouraging yourself and you understand that maybe you were not as capable as you thought you were at that point, but that's okay because now you can go a bit further or re-strategize. It's important to understand that when we are chasing goals, that it's not something set in stone. Things can come, right? Things can happen. So we need to break down that goal. When you feel like you're overwhelmed, break it down. Dana said it, break it down to even smaller ones again. If you feel like you're not on track because it's overwhelming, ask yourself, why am I not on track right now? This is so important. Once you understand what's keeping you away, it's too much, Okay, break it down to smaller steps. What's one step I can do today to get back on track? Because once you're in the flow again, you'll be on your way again. Is that good, Denita? Is that a satisfactory answer to you? I'll keep the chat here. You guys don't see the chat window, right? Okay, cool. Measuring, and you're very welcome. Be realistic and accept that sometimes you might take longer than others, and that's okay. Exactly, Dana. Like, again, I said that once today. We're human. We have capacities, we have capabilities, and it's okay. Everyone is different. Don't measure yourself always with others, but rather to yourself yesterday. Am I better than yesterday? Am I doing good? Am I advancing? Am I growing? If not, ask yourself why and try to re-strategize and break down the goal again. How to measure and evaluate well-being initiatives. How effective are your strategies? We need to understand KPIs to actually understand how effective that is. KPIs are key performance indicators. So basically, we set KPIs, which are like targets to hit. For example, I'll go to the health example again because it's the one that's easy and relatable. 10 kilograms is a KPI, right? By when is also a KPI. So the time frame. So understanding the metrics, understanding the key performance indicators in order to actually measure the real impact. Am I getting closer? Am I getting further away? Am I getting further away? What can I do? What can I re-strategize? And not beating ourselves up by not achieving it that quickly. Feedback and improvement, learning from employee input for continuous growth. We talked about this last session, and today, even more important, supervisors should always include employee input. Why? Because I talked about this last time. Imagine you're a football team and you as the coach, you're telling them what to do, but you need to also understand from the players what is going good and what is going bad on the field. In order for me to be actually able to help you and actually improve, I need to understand what's going on. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? And how's the actual situation right now where you are? Because again, a supervisor is not seeing your day-to-day life. So open communication is very important. Feedback helps improvement. So it's quiz time. I think everyone is excited for quiz time. It's just 2 questions, I think, or 3. Let's get started. Are you guys ready? You'll have to type in a letter into the chat as soon as the question is there. Why is it important for organizations to implement strategies for promoting mental health in the workplace? Why do you think? Is it solely an employee responsibility? It contributes to individual and organizational success, or it has no impact on overall workplace dynamics? It has no impact on overall workplace dynamics, which is written twice. I don't know why, but you get the point. Okay, everyone's saying B, 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 B. Anyone has a different opinion? Apparently not. Everyone is at B. To have a common goal. Yeah, Mehmet, B, B, B. I like that. It is B. Great. I would like to do like some fireworks for you guys, but my Zoom is not allowing me to do hand gestures anymore. Why is creating a positive work environment considered essential for mental well-being? It's not essential. Employees should manage their stress individually. Or positive work environments lead to increased workload. Or does it contribute to employee satisfaction and reduce stress? What do you guys think? Why is it important to create a positive work environment? C, 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 C. Nice. I like that. Makes sense. Yeah, because positive work environments don't increase workload, but actually they reduce stress and increase satisfaction. You're all right. Thank you for contributing so willingly. Okay, another question. How can leaders contribute to fostering mental well-being? Is it by demonstrating empathy and supporting employee well-being? Is it by ignoring employee concerns or by solely focusing on task delegation? Which one do you guys think is the right one? A. I like that. Nice. Yep. It is A. It's important to be empathetic and to support employee well-being and make sure that the people are in a good headspace in order for them to also have more joy at work and at delivering their tasks. Let's open up some Q&A. I'm very interested to see what you guys think, what you guys have for questions. You can just turn on your audio and come at me. Nobody. Okay, fine, fine. That can mean one of two things. I did a good job, you have no questions. I did a terrible job and you don't think I can answer your questions. So I hope it's the first one.
I was thinking before you were speaking about dividing your daily tasks like in blocks. Can you explain that better? Because I'm interested actually.
Do you guys want to see my calendar?
Yeah.
It looks very stressful for some people, but for me it helps me really structure my day properly. Please don't get frustrated or like don't feel bad that it's like this. But wait, share screen.
Yeah, if you feel like, of course.
There you go.
Okay, wow.
So basically the red blocks are because I don't want people to book meetings in them. And the colorful ones are basically the ones that I want to achieve for myself or the things that I want to do. And I even put in my break just for me to understand, okay, can I take meetings before that or after that? And yeah, so I like the colors of Google Calendar, which is why I use Google Calendar. It gives you the flexibility to do that. Uh, Sauna and wellness are the best. Yes, Martha, that's so true. That's absolutely true. So time blocking and another strategy that really helps with time blocking is the night before or when you finish the last task of your day before you go home, or if you're home before you turn off your laptop, write down the most important tasks for tomorrow, the three most important ones that come to your mind, and leave it next to your laptop or in your laptop or whatever. So when you come in the morning and you open and you want a time block, there's this paper that says those three things need tending to, and you had some time to relax, calm down. Then you look at them and you realize which one is still more urgent, and you can start by time blocking that, and then you can block the others. So time blocking basically is it's not set in stone. I mean, if you put a 3 hours block and you finish in 2 hours, that last hour you can use for things that are less urgent and pick them up and put them in there. If you feel like you still want to go in the flow, if you're done in 2 hours and you need a short break, take a short break. But time blocks just helps you get orientated. Where am I going today? What am I doing today? And when? And how intense am I gonna go for it? I just want to comment on what Marta said. Sauna and wellness are the best. It's so important. Like sauna, there is a study that says sauna reduces heart attack by 51%. So the possibility of a heart attack decreases 51% if you go to the sauna regularly, because you sweat out a lot. Your whole circulation system works, which is why sometimes you get tingly. So sauna is a very good thing. For me, sauna was something that I always struggled because I couldn't breathe in it, but now it works perfectly well. So sauna and physical exercises are incredible for your mental while working. Any other question? Anyone wants to ask something, clarify something about burning out? I think it is so important to stress on the importance of proper breathing, conscious breathing. The brain needs oxygen. I agree with that, Dana, 100%. I was talking to a colleague of mine yesterday, and I've been sick for a while, and you can hear it in my voice. And the reason I feel like I haven't recovered quickly is because my breathing was very shallow, and shallow breathing is connected to anxiety, which can also lead to later on burnout and stress. So when you're shallow breathing, your whole body is deprived of oxygen. What we need to do is flip our breathing back into our bellies. You know, when you breathe and your belly goes like this, right? So breathing into your belly calms the entire nervous system down, and your muscles also calm down, and your body feels more relaxed, and your brain gets more oxygen. And when your brain has more oxygen, you're alert, you're motivated, you're awake. Yeah, I hope that is enough for that. Denisa said, you mentioned the importance of boundaries. Yes, 100%. Knowing when to say no. How can we practice them without disappointing people? Well, first of all, by clearly understanding why those boundaries are so important to you. Understanding why you want to set those boundaries, because sometimes we feel like we need to set a boundary, so we might say something that hurts another person. But once you actually know why you're setting that boundary and why it is so important to you, you will also be able to communicate it in a much more empathetic way. You can say, listen, I don't feel very well, and I would like to decline or at least postpone this task. Is that okay for you? Also making sure that you're not too like pushy, or you set your boundary like no, and that's it. It's important to interact as a fellow human, right? So, and if they get disappointed, that's not on you. And I know that's probably tough to hear for people with a people pleasing syndrome, or the helper syndrome. Um, I didn't know how to set my boundaries up until 2 years ago. Before that, I used to do everything for everyone. Everyone who needed something would get it immediately. I would never say no. And then I started setting my boundaries with a no and no explanation, which drove a lot of people out of my life. I didn't want that anymore. So I learned how to communicate my no better and make them also understand that it's important for them to respect my boundaries, because I will also respect their opinion. So I always also include them in the conversation. I'm like, listen, right now I can't. I would love to. Trust me, I would. But I feel like right now is not a good time. Is that okay for you? Can you find another solution? And make them feel like you're not just cutting them off, but you're also offering them to maybe help them find another solution, or if they can find another solution. I hope that helps, Denita. Neda says, I'm a uni student and I get very stressed preparing for exams. What strategies do you recommend? I also tend to get blackouts during exams and forget a lot. I don't know what to do against it. Do you have any tips? That's a deep issue most of the times. Like, it's not something that we can just flip the switch, but, and I promise you, you might probably laugh at it. If you practice mindfulness for long enough, you start understanding that the panic that you get is not 100% based on facts. Because when we panic, we feel like we're not ready. Oh my God, what if I fail? What if? So we start having all those thoughts that are not real. Thoughts are a construct of our brains. And when you start talking to yourself in a way of, yeah, I'm not going to succeed anyways. Why am I doing this? It's too stressful. I can't. I can bet with you, you will not be able to, and you will get the blackouts. But if you're comforting, right? Yes, I know we're stressed. Let's do a bit more. Let's see how we can understand it a bit more and get better prepared. So the whole idea of being your best friend or your worst enemy, when you're panicking and you're your worst enemy, you'll black out. It will not work properly. But when you're um, at peace with yourself and you're nice to yourself, even when you do fail an exam, you will pick yourself up, and then you will not be afraid to try again, because you know that even if you fail, you will not lose your respect to yourself, because your respect to yourself should not only be evaluated on whether you succeed. This is my opinion, of course, and I live by it. When you want to respect yourself, because this means a lack of self-respect and self-belief when you panic, because you feel like you're not able to do it. Ask yourself, why? Why am I not able? I'm studying. I achieved a lot. I have succeeded in a lot of exams. Why am I still always terrified? It's going to be okay. One exam at a time, one page at a time. Don't stress yourself too much. I hope that helped, Nada. Let's go to Indra. I have a question about time management. How, if you have different time zones with the office where you are working because you're traveling, how to find the best time for working, since my time zone is now 5 hours ahead of CEST. Thank you. So you're either in Thailand or in Bali, or that's a 5-hour time difference. Well, this gives you actually the luxury, because I'm thinking about going to Thailand myself and having a different time zone. This gives you the luxury of having the morning to yourself, because in the morning, people here are still sleeping. It's still night. So see it as something good. Use the morning to energize yourself, to get yourself in the right headspace. You can start working earlier, which is somewhere around 10, 11, where people are still maybe sleeping. You can organize yourself. So it gives you actually much more time to prepare and to go into the workday than others. And if you have meetings, for you it's afternoon, for them it's morning. I mean, you're having lunch, they're having breakfast. It's okay, but the idea of it giving you more time in the morning to get yourself into the right headspace, this should actually be a blessing. You should be happy about being ahead of the time zone. And I hope that answers that question as well. Neda said, I undermine my efforts and hard work, which results into negative thoughts. So I'm trying to change that. Thank you. Positive affirmations. Sometimes it sounds silly, but Mel Robbins, a female coach, business coach, and also life coach, has a book called the High Five Habit. So she used to be a person that barely got out of bed. She was always so stressed, so overwhelmed. She was actually burnt out, yeah, and she didn't even know it. And she developed two things that have the word five in it. So the high five method and the 5-second habit. So the 5-second habit is basically when you don't feel like you can do it or you're motivated to do it, is count down from 5 and get up. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like a rocket launch, and start. Even if you do just 3 minutes, at least you started. But when you start, you'll stick to it. You will not stop. So for example, when you don't feel like going to the gym, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up, put your shoes on. No more saying no. Like literally, as soon as you say one, launch. And the other one, you're very welcome, Indra. The other one, the high five method. It sounds so funny, but it's actually very funny. It boosts your mood. In the morning, when you're brushing your teeth or whatever, look yourself in the mirror and give yourself a high five for the effort. Literally, like in the mirror, give yourself a high five. Because two things happen. First of all, our brains are wired that high five increases serotonin and dopamine, because we learned that we get high fives when we were young, when we did something good or cool or funny. So try to give a high five and be pissed. It's going to be difficult, because once you give a high five, your mood goes up. You go up. So the high five method, high fiving yourself and thanking yourself for trying and for doing and for staying on it and for giving yourself reasons to love and respect yourself. Such a cool idea. And you don't need to do it daily for the rest of your life, but do it until you feel like, hey, I got my back, which is what we need to aim for. You need to support yourself, because no one was going to support you as much as you can support yourself. Okay, any other questions, guys? We still have a bit of time. I'm sorry, 1 second. So, anyone needs any answer, or anyone wants to share a story, you can share a story about burnout or about being stressed to a level where you knew you needed to set your boundaries. I can share a story I had. I think I shared it last time as well. But in the last job, I worked Monday to Sunday, 8 months. Literally, I did not have a single day off. I had only one. And I took a vacation day for that in order for me to get a haircut and tattoos, because I didn't have time to do anything else. And after 8 months, and I was really building myself up the entire 8 months, because I saw a big opportunity for myself in there. And I saw a career, and I saw a future, and I saw success, and I saw everything that I've been striving towards. This was exactly the job that I wanted at that point, and I got it. And I was excelling, and I was doing very good, and it was working. And after 8 months, I stopped for a minute, and I was like, okay, Joe, where's your limit? Where are your boundaries? You're not taking care of yourself. You're not eating healthy. You're not going to the gym. If you continue like this, it's not going to turn out well. And I know how it is when you burn out and you can't, when you wake up in the morning and you feel like you're numb, you can't leave the bed. So I didn't want to get to that point. And from one day to the other, I went to the CEO and I said, hasta la vista. It was a pleasure. And I jumped without having any security, but I understood that taking care of me meant taking action, setting my boundaries, saying, hey, listen, you didn't respect my boundaries. You didn't respect my wishes. You didn't respect my time. I'm sorry, but I cannot continue like this. And I decided to take care of myself, and it's the best decision I took. This was in February. Today we're in June. I can tell you it was beautiful. It was very tough because March and April were very hard months, but now it's June and it's good again. So don't be scared to jump, is all I'm trying to say. If you feel like you have to. Cool. Anybody wants to share anything, say anything, or ask anything?
Thinking after the story that you just said, that most of the time the hardest thing is to respect yourself first, because you put yourself in that situation, even if it was a nice job and you enjoyed it, but it was not respecting yourself. So I think when we really start to respect ourselves, it's so easy then to say to other people, hey, I'm here. I have these limits, I have my boundaries.
Yeah. It definitely also helps with setting boundaries, because someone asked how to, Denitsa, how to set boundaries without disappointing people. When you know that you're taking care of yourself, as hard as it sounds, and I'm a person who cares about people, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this and I wouldn't be coaching. But you will not care if they're disappointed or not, because you know why you're doing it for yourself. And if they get disappointed, it's on them actually, because they didn't understand your boundary. They didn't understand that they cannot expect things from you always, because life is giving and taking, and sometimes neither nor. Sometimes it's just coexisting. You don't need always to meet every expectation, and you can't. I promise you, you can't. You will never meet every expectation of everyone, not even yourself. So it's cool. Nada, that's a nice idea. In my previous job, my former boss forbid my break 4 times in a row, and that was all it took for me to leave. It was an unpaid internship. Lol. Okay, I get that. I totally get that. Totally reasonable. And in school we learned to get rejected a lot. Like if you wanted to go to the toilet and the teacher said no, right now you can't. I don't know if this happened here, but I come from Syria, so a lot of times we were actually not allowed to go to the toilet during class. So we learned that we need to be, there's this hierarchy, and we cannot demand our boundaries, or we cannot set our boundaries, because the teacher is the teacher and we're just the students. And this dynamic goes on in our lives because we have it with our family, with our parents as well. So we grow up feeling like there are people who are superior to us, and we never get to understand that no, we're coexisting, and I have my rights, and I have my freedom, and I have my boundaries, and I have myself to look after. I cannot look at after everyone all the time. Yeah, cool. I hope you guys had a good session today. I know I did. It was also, I learned a lot from you guys, from the questions and from the chat. So thank you for that. Thank you, Marco. I feel the applause. I can hear it.
Really interesting. And I just knew that you're going to be also for the last session.
Yes.
We are really glad and happy about it.
Me too. Thank you. I'm very excited for next week.
Yeah, we do. It's getting to the end, but it was a nice journey, I would say, some months, and we are happy to finish with you.
You guys did a very good job. I'm glad. Thank you. And I love initiatives like this, and I hope that I'll be able to support you guys on it even after the program.
We would like to. It's gonna be the chance for sure.
Great. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye, guys.
See you next week. Have
Thank
a nice
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.